The world was white. Snow covered everything. It lay thick on the branches of the fir trees. It dusted the frozen surface of the creek. The forest was quiet, hushed by the cold. This was Lila's first winter alone. She was a young red fox, her fur thick and bright against the snow. Her breath puffed out in white clouds as she moved through the silent woods. Lila was hungry. Winter was a time of scarcity, and finding food was a constant challenge. Her keen nose twitched, searching for the scent of a vole or a mouse hidden beneath the snow. Her ears, sharp and pointed, listened for the slightest rustle or squeak. Winter was a time to be patient, to rely on instinct and cunning. The sun, low in the sky, cast long shadows across the snow. Lila shivered, feeling the bite of the wind against her fur. She needed to find shelter before nightfall. A hollow log, a crevice in the rocks, any place to escape the worst of the cold would do. She pushed on, driven by instinct and the need to survive. Lila's nose twitched. She caught a faint scent, something small and furry moving beneath the snow. Her body tensed, muscles coiling beneath her thick fur. This was it, a chance to eat. She approached the spot cautiously, her steps light and silent on the snow. She paused, listening intently, and there it was again, a faint scratching sound. With a sudden burst of energy, Lila leapt into the air, her body arched gracefully, a flash of red against the white. She landed with a soft thud, her nose buried deep in the snow. A moment later, she emerged, a small vole dangling from her jaws. It was a meager meal, but enough to keep her going. Lila shook the snow from her fur and began to trot back the way she had come. She needed to find a safe place to eat, away from the watchful eyes of owls and larger predators. High above, perched on the branch of a snow-laden pine, a pair of bright eyes watched Lila. It was Pippa, a black-capped chickadee, her tiny body fluffed up against the cold. Pippa had been watching Lila for days, admiring the fox's grace and skill. Pippa had her own challenges surviving the winter. Finding enough seeds and berries was a constant struggle. She spent her days flitting from branch to branch, searching for food and avoiding the hungry hawks that patrolled the skies. Lila, with her bright fur and confident movements, seemed so much better equipped to deal with the harsh realities of winter. Pippa wished she could be as brave and resourceful as Lila. The fox seemed to move effortlessly through the snow, her senses attuned to the slightest sound or movement. Pippa knew that she would never be as strong or as fast as Lila, but she could still learn from the fox's example. The wind picked up as the sun began to set. Snow, driven by the rising wind, began to fall in earnest. Lila, feeling the change in the air, sought shelter among the roots of a fallen tree. The storm was coming, and she knew it would be a bad one. The wind howled through the trees, its voice rising to a deafening roar. Snow fell in thick sheets, quickly burying the forest floor. Lila huddled deeper into her shelter, trying to stay warm and dry. The temperature was plummeting, and the wind seemed to cut right through her thick fur. The storm raged throughout the night. Trees swayed and creaked under the weight of the snow. Branches, heavy with ice, snapped and fell to the ground. Lila, trapped in her shelter, could only wait for the storm to pass. She was afraid, but there was nothing she could do but ride it out. Pippa, caught out in the open when the blizzard hit, was desperate for shelter. The wind buffeted her tiny body, threatening to dash her against the snow-covered branches. She needed to find cover, and fast. She remembered seeing Lila disappear among the roots of a fallen tree. Maybe, just maybe, there would be room for her there too. With a desperate burst of energy, Pippa flew towards Lila's shelter. The wind tore at her wings, but she pushed on, driven by instinct and the need to survive. She reached the fallen tree and, with a grateful sigh, slipped into the space beside Lila. Lila, startled by the chickadee's sudden appearance, growled softly, but she didn't chase Pippa away. There was room enough for both of them, and the storm was no time to be turning away company. As the blizzard raged around them, a strange kind of trust developed between the fox and the bird. They were different creatures, predator and prey, but in that moment of shared danger, they were simply two beings struggling to survive.